Good Friday afternoon, everyone. We are breaking into programming. You can see we've actually got a land spout right there north of Dimmitt. Looks like it's northwest of town. This is a pretty small thunderstorm, but wind shear, lots of turning in the lower levels. You can see again, we've got this. It looks like it's still way outside of town. Here's the town of Dimmitt, Texas, right here. It's probably about a mile. Sorry, a little out of breath trying to get everyone back into their places and situations. But again, that's outside of town just right now. This is live. You can see again, that is about a mile or two to the northwest of Dimmitt. Certainly no condensed funnel, but you can see that dust getting sucked up into the updraft of that thunderstorm. Again, it's outside of town, so not an immediate threat to anyone at this point in time. But there you go. So we said that some cold air funnels and some spin-ups were going to be possible today, and this certainly looks like it's going to verify. This is the second land spout that's happened. There was one there just to the near Muleshoe with that other storm, but again, this one is just northwest of Dimmitt. It's outside of town for right now, but again, something to certainly be made known and paid attention to, because this storm, again, is going to continue to track across portions of the area. Let's take a quick look at our Viper radar, just to show you kind of where that storm blew up right now. Again, that's this one right here, just to the north of Dimmitt. There is a land spout associated with this storm to the northwest of town. Hopefully it doesn't run into anyone's structures or things of that nature. But again, this thing is going to probably get a little close to the community. But again, it's a land spout. It's not a full-fledged tornado, so it's not going to be as strong as per se a supercell would produce one of those quick spin-ups. So again, that's at least the silver lining in this. Again, it's outside of town for right now, but definitely something that we'll continue to watch and monitor for you. We'll just stick it live here on your Skycam. Yeah, we'll stick with this for a little while. Again, this is pretty close to town right now, so we're not going to go anywhere for the moment. Currently northwest of Dimmitt, Texas, little land spout tornado. Again, this is right now, it looks to be about a mile or two just outside of town. Doesn't look like it's run into anything at this point in time, but it's associated with that thunderstorm that's going up there in Castro County. Again, hopefully this thing stays outside of the city limits and away from anyone's homes and structures and things of that nature. But that is a land spout that you're looking at out there just to the northwest of Dimmitt right now. Doesn't look like it's a very large one. Again, fortunately, it's still a couple miles away from the community. But if you're looking in a northwest direction, that is that land spout out there associated with this storm that just got going not too long ago. You can see again, it's starting to get absorbed up into the storm itself. We got a lot of low-level rotation within the atmosphere for today's thunderstorms. We do have that marginal and slight risk for this afternoon. We actually have a severe thunderstorm watch in Hall, Briscoe, Childress, and Cottle County as well until 7 p.m. This one over in Castro County, northwest of Dimmitt, Texas. It's a land spout. Doesn't look like it's a full-fledged tornado. This one likely originating from the ground and getting pulled back up into the storm. Again, these don't tend to last very long, just a few minutes usually, but we're going to continue to stick live with this thing until it again lifts off of the ground. But this is something that we're not really shocked or surprised of. I do think that some brief spin-ups today, especially these land spout kind of events, it's something that's going to be a little bit more frequent over the course of the next couple of hours. Currently outside of town right now, it's to the northwest of Dimmitt. Let's go ahead and take a look again back at your Viper radar. Again, this thing's going to be out here somewhere just to the northwest of town, kind of out in this general area and vicinity. It doesn't look like it's got much motion to it. It's pretty well stationary, so that's a good thing. Again, it's still it's not far away from town though, so that's why we're staying live here. So certainly need to keep an eye on this thing as it continues. This storm continues to push over the city and over the community. It's been on the ground for about 7 or 8 minutes now, y'all. Staying away from town, that's the good news though. But there's that landspout tornado. It's just northwest of Dimmitt, Texas. We again are going to have that threat for some severe storm potential here probably for the next 5 or 6 hours or so. Storms just got going, especially these over in Castro County. And these are going to start to track to an east and southeast direction over the course of this afternoon and evening. So areas like Tulia and Silverton, you guys want to make sure to pay attention to this situation as it continues. Again, certainly something that we'll have to watch the rest of this evening. These landspouts usually are fairly weak. They don't cause too much of an issue. Again, this one's out over an open land. They tend to be a little on the weaker side. They can cause damage, so this is why we're watching this closely. It's not very far from some homes and some homesteads out there just to the northwest of Dimmitt. Starting to see a condensation funnel start to fill in on this thing, starting to kind of take on more of a condensation funnel up here at the top that you can see here. This is your condensation funnel. Again, this is just some dirt and some dust that's being absorbed up into that landspout. Again, these landspouts generally originate at the ground level, so they're really hard to pick up on radar. Wouldn't be shocked if you can't even see this on radar. Looking at storm relative velocities, this thing started at the ground, and basically that storm and that updraft passed overhead and basically just stretched this thing vertically up into the cloud base. And again, all that dirt you can see there is what we're seeing visually. Again, looks like it's still outside of town. Hasn't moved a whole lot, probably only moved a couple hundred yards or so here over the last 7 or 8 minutes. Again, this thing, we saw it at about 4:32 p.m. there on the camera, so it's been on the ground about 8 minutes or so. So the storm itself is over Dimmitt. That's where you're seeing some of the rain, maybe a little bit of some small hail, but there is that landspout that's out there northwest of town. It looks very stationary for right now. That's certainly some good news. It's staying out over some of those row crop land and some of the center pivot areas. Hopefully it doesn't overturn a center pivot, but it does look like it's staying away from the homes and the communities down there. So it's 4:42 p.m. This landspout hasn't moved a whole lot. Again, the rain's starting to fill in, so we'll see how long we've got visual of it. This is probably something, wouldn't be shocked if we see this a couple more times today with any of these storms that do get going. Again, we've got the marginal and slight risk out for today. Let's go ahead and show you the outlook for this afternoon. Again, this storm is in Castro County, so it's right there in that marginal risk zone. That's kind of expected. Again, just 1 or 2 storms possibly going severe. Again, the tornado threat, while it is low, there's enough low-level rotation and enough wind shear in the lower levels that we're going to see, I think, something like that probably more frequently. There was another landspout that was down by Muleshoe when the kids were getting out of school earlier this evening as well. That one was outside of the area. This one, again, in Castro County. And these storms are going to start to propagate to the east. They're going to move into places around Silverton, Clarendon, Plainview, eventually Childress and Paducah. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see something like this at least a few more times today. At least occur. Again, whether or not it's in view of our camera or not, it's still something that we'll have to watch and monitor. But this is the first one that we've seen so far today. This thing's been on the ground for about 10 minutes now. Pretty impressive little landspout there. Looks like it's broadened out a little bit. Again, it looks like it's maybe starting to edge a little bit closer to town. If you're on the northwest side of Dimmitt, you may want to start considering getting into that safe place. Again, especially if you're on the outer edge of town. This thing's getting pretty close to the edge of the community of Dimmitt, Texas. Again, it's 4:44 p.m. This has been on the ground about 12 minutes now. Again, it's out there in open fields for the moment, but it does look like it is getting a little bit closer to some of those homes in the community there on the northwest side of town. So you may want to start thinking about getting in that interior room, putting as many walls between you and the outside world as you can if you live on the northwest side of Dimmitt, Texas. Again, this is a landspout tornado. associated with that thunderstorm that just got going not too long ago. Sorry, y'all, if it's quiet, it's because we're communicating with the National Weather Service as well. Again, this is a land spout. This isn't what you call your traditional tornado. This one originated from the ground level, and what happened was you had that thunderstorm pass overhead. You get that updraft, and it just kind of stretches that rotation vertically. When you stretch these things, they start to spin a lot faster. And again, when they spin faster, they start kicking up a lot of that dust and that dirt and debris. And so that's why you're getting that visual there of that land spout. Again, here's the edge of Dimmitt right here. Again, this is still outside of town. Looks like it's about a mile outside of the northwest side of town right now. You can start to see the rain starting to fall through. Might get a little hard to start seeing this thing here in the next few minutes. We noticed this at 4:32 p.m., so it's been on the ground for the better part of 15 minutes. Fortunately, has been relatively stationary, has not moved a whole lot, so it's not really impacting anyone's home right now. That's certainly some good news. It does look like it's starting to get thinner, so maybe roping out here over the next couple of minutes. But again, that's that land spout there northwest of Dimmitt. Don't be shocked if things like this happen a little bit more frequently over the course of this afternoon. We've got some really good wind shear for this kind of setup for today, and so this may not be the last one that we have across the viewing area. We do have that severe thunderstorm watch that's going to be in effect until 7 p.m. for Briscoe, Hall, Childress, and Cottle County. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. So the storm that's got the land spout on it is this one right here. You can see the rain starting to move into the community and move into town right now. Again, that land spout's outside of the community. It's out in an open field, fortunately. But this is just one of probably a few that we may end up having today. Those cold air funnels are going to be a pretty frequent occurrence, I think. Looks like we've got a new storm starting to billow up near Panhandle. This one's really close to that boundary, so it may kind of hold similar characteristics as to this storm that we have down here over in Dimmitt. So anything that does get going and starts to fire here along this boundary in that cold front, I think is going to have the opportunity to do something like this storm down here in Castro County. Thing is still on the ground. That is impressive. Again, these land spouts normally don't last this long. It's been on the ground and planted for 15 minutes now. It's 4:47 p.m. First made contact with the ground at 4:32. So again, kind of a long-lived land spout up here. Still outside of town, starting to lose some visual from the rain starting to fall. Again, you may see some small hail up to the size of $half as well. But you can see again, very, very needle-like land spout. You can see all the dust starting to get a little bit broader there around the base of that, but it looks like it's still outside of Dimmitt. So the edge of town is like right in here. And so this is northwest of the community. So again, hasn't looked like it's caused any damage at this point in time. But again, very good visual there for several minutes. This one looks like it's going to rope out here hopefully soon. But we do have some good wind shear for today. So this is something that may occur a few more times as we continue into this evening. So these storms that you see starting to fire up here along this boundary, this is kind of an old outflow boundary from some storms we had earlier this morning. As this crashes south, again, you've got southerly flow colliding into this, and you've got some general rotation in the lower levels. So any of these storms that start firing up along that boundary, I think are going to have that chance to do what this one's doing right now in Castro County. Again, these will eventually merge or congeal into a linear line. So the land spout potential probably going to be more on the order of the next hour or two as these congeal into that linear line, wind and heavy rain threat than anything else. We do have those 4 counties that are going to be under that severe thunderstorm watch. That's Briscoe, Hall, Childress, and Colorado. Storm. This is just, it's producing some pretty heavy rain. Looks like that rain shield's starting to obscure our view of it at this point in time. Still looks like it's on the ground though. You can see the dirt and dust get a little bit more opaque there, but you can definitely still see that needle So definitely still planted on the ground, but the rain and the hail probably starting to make its way into the northwest side of the community. Again, it's a non-severe thunderstorm. We just have some spin in the lower levels, which is going to allow for that landspout potential for a lot of these thunderstorms over the next couple of hours. We're going to get you back to programming for right now. This thing does look like it's going to stay to the northwest of Dimmitt. If things change, we're going to jump back on and let you guys know. Again, we're starting to lose visual of this. We're going to be live on YouTube as well throughout the rest of this evening. If you don't have our Storm Surge 7 weather app, you can scan that QR code on the left-hand side of your screen. That'll make you stay weather aware with us here at Storm Surge 7.